Project Management Professional, or PMP, is more than just a title. It's actually a globally recognized certification that tells the world you know how to manage projects. Think of it as the gold standard for project managers. When an employer sees PMP after your name, they see a professional who understands a proven, repeatable process for delivering successful outcomes. This isn't about luck or just being organized. It's about mastering a specific framework for leading teams and achieving project goals. It shows you speak the international language of project management, a language understood and respected in virtually every industry and every country across the globe. The importance of PMP certification cannot be overstated in today's competitive job market. Projects are the engines of progress in every organization, from launching a new smartphone to building a hospital or developing a marketing campaign. Companies need leaders who can navigate the complexities of these projects, ensuring they are completed on time, within budget, and to the required quality standards. A PMP certification validates your ability to do just that. It demonstrates your commitment to the profession and your deep understanding of the best practices that separate successful projects from failed ones. This credential instantly boosts your credibility and marketability. So, why should you personally care about getting your PMP? It is a direct investment in your professional future. Certified PMP holders often report significant salary increases compared to their non-certified peers. Beyond the financial benefits, the certification opens doors to more challenging and rewarding career opportunities. It equips you with the skills and confidence to lead larger, more complex projects that can have a real impact. The process of studying for the exam itself is a journey of immense learning, forcing you to think critically about every aspect of project management, from managing stakeholders to mitigating risks. Ultimately, pursuing PMP is about transforming yourself into a more effective and strategic leader. It provides you with a structured way of thinking that you can apply to any project, big or small. You learn how to break down massive undertakings into manageable tasks, how to anticipate problems before they arise, and how to communicate effectively with everyone involved. This is not just theoretical knowledge. It is a practical toolkit that will make you a better manager and a more valuable asset to any team. It's a clear signal to the world that you are serious about your career and ready to take on significant responsibility. The PMP certification is designed for experienced project managers who are ready to take their careers to the next level. If you have been leading and directing projects in your professional life, this certification is for you. The Project Management Institute, or PMI, is the organization that issues the PMP, and they have specific eligibility requirements. Typically, you need a 4-year degree, at least 3 years of project management experience, and 35 hours of formal project management education. Alternatively, if you have a high school diploma or an associate's degree, you'll need 5 years of experience. These requirements ensure that PMP holders are not just book smart, but also have real-world, hands-on experience leading projects. This certification is not limited to a single industry. In fact, its strength lies in its versatility. PMP professionals are in high demand in IT, construction, healthcare, finance, manufacturing, marketing, and government sectors. Any field that relies on projects to achieve its goals values the skills a PMP brings. A software development company needs a PMP to manage the release of a new app, just as a construction firm needs one to oversee the building of a new skyscraper. The principles of project management, defining scope, managing schedules, and controlling costs, are universal, making the PMP a transportable and highly sought-after credential across all industries. So, who specifically benefits? Think of the IT manager overseeing a complex system migration, the marketing lead launching a new product, or the engineer managing a large-scale infrastructure project. It's also for team leads, project coordinators, and business analysts who are actively involved in project work and aspire to move into a formal project management role. If your daily work involves defining project goals, creating schedules, managing budgets, leading a team, and reporting on progress, then the PMP framework will provide the structure and terminology to formalize and improve what you are already doing. It provides a common language that elevates your professional practice. The PMP is your key to unlocking significant career potential. It is for the ambitious professional who wants to move beyond simply participating in projects to strategically leading them. It is for those who want to earn a higher salary, qualify for senior level positions, and gain the respect of their peers and executives. If you are looking for a way to differentiate yourself in a crowded marketplace and prove your expertise in a tangible, globally recognized way, then the PMP certification is the definitive path forward. It's a clear statement that you are a leader capable of delivering results, no matter the challenge. At the very heart of the PMP framework are the 5 process groups. These are not project phases, but rather a logical grouping of the project management processes you will use throughout the entire project lifecycle. Think of them as the fundamental rhythm of any project, from its initial spark of an idea to its final successful completion. The 5 process groups are initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. Mastering what happens in each of these groups is absolutely essential for passing the PMP exam and, more importantly, for being an effective project manager in the real world. They provide a roadmap that guides your actions from start to finish. Understanding these groups helps you organize and structure your thinking. Projects can be chaotic and unpredictable, but the 5 process groups give you a stable foundation to stand on. They ensure you don't jump into doing the work, executing, without first getting proper authorization, initiating and creating a detailed roadmap, planning. They also remind you that you must constantly check your progress against the plan, monitoring and controlling, and formally wrap things up when the work is done, closing. This structure prevents common project pitfalls like scope creep, budget overruns, and missed deadlines, by ensuring all necessary steps are considered and followed in a logical sequence. It is important to remember that these process groups are not strictly sequential, one-and-done steps. While a project generally starts with initiating and ends with closing, the other groups often overlap and interact throughout the project's life. For example, the planning process is most intense at the beginning, but you may need to revisit and update your plans as the project progresses. Similarly, monitoring and controlling happens concurrently with executing. You execute the work, monitor the performance, and make necessary corrections in a continuous cycle. This iterative nature is what allows a project manager to remain agile and responsive to change. Grasping the 5 process groups is the first major step in your PMP journey. They form the backbone of the PM Bouquet Guide, the primary reference for the exam. Every tool, technique, and knowledge area you will learn fits within the context of these 5 groups. When you face a scenario question on the exam, your first thought should often be, which process group am I in right now? This mental framework will help you select the most appropriate action. By internalizing this structure, you build a powerful mental model for navigating any project challenge that comes your way. The initiating process group is where every project officially begins. This is the stage where the project is formally authorized and its high-level purpose is defined. The key output of this group is the project charter. Think of the project charter as the project's birth certificate. It's a formal document that names the project manager, outlines the business need and justification for the project, summarizes the key objectives, and identifies the main stakeholders. Without a signed charter, a project doesn't truly exist. It's just an idea. This process ensures that the project is aligned with the organization's strategic goals and that you have the authority to start planning. Once the project is initiated, you move into the planning process group, which is arguably the most intensive and critical part of project management. This is where you answer the question, how will we do this? You and your team will develop a comprehensive project management plan that will serve as the roadmap for the entire project. This isn't just one document. It's a collection of subsidiary plans covering every aspect of the project, from scope and schedule to cost, quality, and risk. The motto here is plan the work, then work the plan. A poorly planned project is almost guaranteed to encounter serious problems down the line. Let's consider a real-life example. Imagine your project is to organize a large corporate conference. In the initiating phase, you would create a project charter that gets approval from senior management. This charter would state the conference's purpose, like to launch a new product, name you as the project manager, and outline the preliminary budget and timeline. Then, in the planning phase, you would dive into the details. You would create a work breakdown structure of all tasks: booking a venue, securing speakers, developing marketing materials, managing registrations, and so on. You'd create a detailed schedule, a comprehensive budget, and a communication plan. Thorough planning is your best defense against project failure. It forces you to think through all the variables and potential challenges before you start spending significant time and money. This is where you define exactly what is included in the project and what isn't, create a realistic timeline, and secure the resources you need. A solid plan provides clarity and direction for the entire team, ensuring everyone is working towards the same goals. It also sets the baseline against which you will measure your performance later on, which is crucial for controlling the project and demonstrating success to your stakeholders. The executing process group is where, honestly, the plan is put into action. This is where the bulk of the project's budget is spent and, well, the actual work to create the project's deliverables is performed. If your project is building a software application, this is where the coding happens. If it's a construction project, this is where the foundation is poured and the walls go up. As the project manager, your role in this phase is to lead and direct the team, manage stakeholder expectations, and of course, ensure that the work is being done according to the project management plan. This is a very active phase, focused on coordinating people and resources to get the job done. Running in parallel with executing is the monitoring and controlling process group. These two groups are like two sides of the same coin and happen simultaneously. While your team is executing the work, your job is to monitor their progress and control the project's performance. This means you are constantly measuring what is actually happening against what you planned to happen. Are we on schedule? Are we within budget? Is the quality of the work meeting our standards? This group is all about performance measurement, variance analysis, and taking corrective or preventive actions to keep the project on track. For example, let's go back to our corporate conference project. During the executing phase, your team would be booking the flights for speakers, printing brochures, and coding the registration website. At the same time, in the monitoring and controlling phase, you would be tracking your expenses against the budget. You might notice that venue catering costs are higher than planned. This is variance. Your job is to control this by taking corrective action. Perhaps you need to renegotiate with the caterer, or maybe you need to reduce costs in another area, like decorations, to offset the overage. This continuous cycle of executing, monitoring, and controlling is the engine that drives a project forward while keeping it aligned with its original goals. It's a proactive, not reactive approach. You don't wait until the end of the project to find out you're over budget. You track it week by week, or even day by day. This group also includes managing changes. When a stakeholder requests a change to the project scope, you use a formal change control process to assess the impact on schedule, cost, and risk before approving or rejecting it. This prevents uncontrolled scope creep and ensures the project remains manageable. The closing process group is the final and honestly often overlooked stage of project management. This is where you formally complete the project and hand over the finished deliverables to the client or customer. It's more than just saying, "We're done." It actually involves a series of formal activities to ensure the project is properly wrapped up. This includes getting formal sign-off and acceptance from the customer, confirming that the work met all the agreed-upon requirements. It's a critical step that provides a clear and official end to the project, preventing it from dragging on indefinitely with lingering requests or unresolved issues. A key part of the closing process is administrative closure. This means finalizing all project-related activities. You need to close out any contracts with vendors and suppliers, making sure all payments have been made and all contractual obligations have been met. You also need to update all project documents and archive them in a central repository. This creates a historical record that can be incredibly valuable for future projects. This archive includes the project plan, performance data, change logs, and most importantly, the lessons learned. Without proper administrative closure, valuable information is lost, and the organization is likely to repeat the same mistakes. One of the most valuable activities in this process group is capturing lessons learned. This is where you and your team reflect on the project experience. What went well? What went wrong? What would we do differently next time? These insights are documented in a lessons learned register. For our conference project, you might document that the chosen registration software was difficult to use, or that booking speakers 6 months in advance saved a significant amount of money. This knowledge is then shared across the organization, helping to improve the processes and outcomes of future projects. It's how organizations learn and mature their project management capabilities. Finally, the closing process group involves releasing the project team. Their work on this project is complete, and they need to be formally transitioned to their next assignments. This is also a time to celebrate the team's success and recognize their hard work and contributions. Properly closing a project provides a sense of accomplishment and finality for everyone involved. It ensures all loose ends are tied up, all knowledge is captured, and the value delivered by the project is formally acknowledged. Neglecting this final group can undermine an otherwise successful project, leaving a trail of unfinished business and missed learning opportunities. While the 5 process groups tell you when you do things in a project, the 10 knowledge areas tell you what you need to manage. Think of these as your project management toolkit, a set of specialized areas of expertise that you need to master. These knowledge areas are applied within the process groups throughout the project's life cycle. The first and most critical is project integration management. This is the master knowledge area that coordinates all the others. It's about pulling everything together into a cohesive whole, from developing the project charter to directing project work and managing changes. The next 3 knowledge areas are often called the triple constraint: scope, schedule, and cost. Project scope management is about defining exactly what work needs to be done, and just as importantly, what work will not be done. Project schedule management involves creating and managing the project timeline, ensuring the work is completed in the right sequence and on time. Project cost management focuses on estimating, budgeting, and controlling costs to ensure the project is completed within the approved budget. Effectively managing these 3 areas is fundamental to delivering a project successfully to meet stakeholder expectations. Beyond the triple constraint, we have several other crucial areas. Project quality management is not just about finding defects. It's about planning and building quality into the process to ensure the final deliverable meets the specified requirements. Project resource management deals with acquiring and managing the project team and any physical resources needed, like equipment or facilities. Project communications management is the art and science of ensuring the right information gets to the right people at the right time. This includes everything from status reports to team meetings and stakeholder updates. Poor communication is a common reason for project failure. Finally, we have 3 more knowledge areas that are vital for navigating the complexities of modern projects. Project risk management is the proactive process of identifying, analyzing, and responding to potential threats and opportunities that could impact your project. Project procurement management involves managing contracts and relationships with outside vendors or suppliers who are providing goods or services for your project. Lastly, project stakeholder management is about identifying all the people or groups impacted by your project and developing strategies to engage them effectively and manage their expectations. Mastering these 10 areas is what makes a PMP a true professional. Preparing for the PMP exam is a project in itself, and it really requires a solid plan. The first step is to create a realistic study schedule. Don't just say, "I'll study on weekends." Be specific. Block out dedicated time on your calendar. For example, 1 hour every weekday evening and 4 hours every Saturday. Consistency is far more effective than cramming. You need to treat your study time as a non-negotiable appointment. The PMP curriculum is extensive, and spreading out your learning over a period of 2 to 3 months is a common and effective strategy. This allows the concepts to sink in, rather than just being memorized for the short term. Your primary study resource should be the PMBOK Guide, or a guide to the project management body of knowledge. However, the PMBOK Guide can be dense and difficult to read on its own. It's essential to supplement it with a high-quality PMP exam prep book. A good prep book will translate the PMBOK's concepts into more understandable language, provide real-world examples, and offer practice questions that mimic the style of the actual exam. Many candidates find that joining a study group or taking a formal PMP prep course is incredibly helpful. This provides structure, accountability, and the opportunity to discuss complex topics with instructors and peers. Practice exams are absolutely critical to your success. You must get used to the format and style of the PMP exam questions, which are often situational and require you to choose the best answer among several good options. Start by taking practice questions at the end of each chapter you study. As you get closer to your exam date, you should take full-length, 4-hour simulated exams. This builds your mental stamina and helps you manage your time effectively during the real test. After each practice exam, spend significant time reviewing every question, not just the ones you got wrong. Understand why the correct answer is right and why the other options are wrong. Finally, focus on understanding the concepts, not just memorizing the inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs, or ITOs. The modern PMP exam is less about rote memorization and more about applying your knowledge to real-world scenarios. Create flashcards for key terms and formulas, but spend most of your energy thinking about how the processes and knowledge areas interact. When you read a practice question, ask yourself, what problem is this project manager trying to solve? Which process group and knowledge area are relevant here? This analytical approach will prepare you for the critical thinking required to pass the exam and excel as a PMP. You have now gained a solid understanding of what the PMP certification is, why it matters, and the core concepts that form its foundation. Your journey starts with a clear, deliberate action, confirming your eligibility. Visit the official PMI website and carefully review the experience requirements. Begin documenting your project management experience, detailing the projects you've led, your role, and the hours you spent in each of the 5 process groups. This can be a time-consuming task, so it's wise to start early. At the same time, you need to fulfill the 35-hour education requirement, which can be done through a registered education provider, a university course, or an online PMP training program. Once your eligibility is confirmed and your application is submitted and approved by PMI, it's time to execute your study plan. This is where your focus and discipline will be tested. Choose your primary study materials, whether it's a prep book, an online course, or both, and commit to your study schedule. Break down the massive amount of information into manageable chunks, focusing on 1 or 2 knowledge areas per week. Engage actively with the material. Take notes, create mind maps, and explain the concepts out loud as if you were teaching them to someone else. This active learning will be far more effective than passive reading. As you progress, immerse yourself in the world of project management. Start using the terminology in your daily work. Think about your current projects through the lens of the PMP framework. How would you create a project charter for this initiative? What risks should be on your risk register? This practical application will solidify your understanding and make the concepts feel less academic and more real. Connect with other PMP aspirants or certified professionals through online forums like LinkedIn or Reddit. Sharing experiences, asking questions, and offering support to others can be an incredibly motivating part of the process. Your final step is to schedule and pass the exam. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready, because that day may never come. When your practice exam scores are consistently in the target range, typically 75% or higher, it's time to have confidence in your preparation and book your test date. On exam day, stay calm, manage your time wisely, and trust in the hard work you've put in. Earning your PMP certification is a significant achievement that will open countless doors. It marks the beginning of a new chapter in your professional life, one where you are recognized as a true expert in the field of project management.